Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to do another short devotional today, and this one is going to be in Jeremiah chapter 29. I'm going to read verse 1 and stop at verse 2, and then pick up again in verse 4 and stop at verse 14. All right, so these are the words of the letter that Jeremiah the prophet sent from Jerusalem to the surviving elders of the exile, and to the priests, the prophets, and the people, whom Nebuchadnezzar had taken into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. Thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, to all of the exiles whom I sent into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon: build houses and live in them, plant gardens and eat their produce. Take wives and have sons and daughters. Take wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage, that they may bear sons and daughters. Multiply there and do not decrease. But seek the welfare of the city where I have sent you into exile, and pray to the Lord in its behalf, for in its welfare you will find your welfare. For thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel: do not let your prophets and your diviners who are among you deceive you. And do not listen to the dreams that they dream, for it is a lie that they are prophesying to you in my name. I did not send them, declares the Lord. For thus says the Lord: when 70 years are completed for Babylon, I will visit you, and I will fulfill to you my promise, and bring you back to this place. For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Then you will call upon me and pray to me, and I will hear you. You will seek me and find me, when you seek me with all your heart. I will be found by you, declares the Lord, and I will restore your fortunes and gather you from all nations and all places where I have driven you, declares the Lord. And I will bring you back to the place from which I sent you into exile. So, I'll give you a little bit of context to the background here. Israel has not been a good nation up to this point. They had King Saul first. This is after Israel was established as a nation. They had King Saul first. He wasn't very good, so God replaced him with David. David was probably the best king that Israel has ever had. But he has a son, Solomon, who takes over after David. And Solomon starts off great, and he brings a lot of prosperity to Israel. But he also marries many wives, and he brings paganism and idolatry and all kinds of sin into the nation. And then his son Rehoboam takes over, and Rehoboam just makes things worse. And the fruit of his kingship, as it turns out, leads into the nation being split between Judah and Israel. And things just pretty much get worse. There are some good things, but for the most part, it just gets worse. And now, after all that has happened, and the nation has already been split apart, Babylon is taking over Israel, and they're driving their people into exile. They're driving them from their own homeland, and they have to go into exile in Babylon. And so what's happening is they have false prophets saying that you guys are not going to be there very long. You're going to come right back home because God is going to take care of you. He's going to drive you from Babylon. He's going to destroy their nation. He's going to kill their king and all this stuff. He's going to take care of Israel. But Jeremiah, the prophet, who is actually a prophet here, is saying that, no, you guys are going to be there for 70 years. And he's telling the Israelites to take care of their pagan neighbors. They're going to be living in a pagan country, a pagan city, and they're going to have to take care of their pagan neighbors, the people who are keeping them as servants. Jeremiah says, take wives and have sons and daughters. Take wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage, that they may bear sons and daughters. Multiply there and do not decrease, but seek the welfare of the city where I have sent you into exile, and pray to the Lord on its behalf, for in its welfare you will find your welfare. The point of this whole thing is that Israel was God's distinct people. They were set apart as a nation, right? As God's distinct people with their own distinct religion. And God is telling them to take care of the pagan people who are holding you guys as servants, who have driven you from your own homeland. Take care of them and seek their welfare. Because if you seek their welfare, then you're going to prosper in return. That's what God is telling them. So we think about this in, you can say, a modern context, right? And I think Jesus made a similar point when he gave the parable between the Good Samaritan, or of the Good Samaritan, right? It was the Good Samaritan who took care of the Jewish man. And the Jews and the Samaritans did not get along because the Jews considered Samaritans to be dogs or dirty people, basically, because they were mixed between Jews and Gentiles. And the Jewish people didn't like them, so there was all kinds of all kinds of strife between them. But with all that, it was the Samaritan who took care of the Jewish man. And so God is making a similar point here. Even though these people are different from you, even though they might persecute you, you still got to take care of them. Look out for their general welfare. Build houses there. Pray for the people that are persecuting you in return. Seek their general welfare. Seek their well-being. So if we look at this in our own situation, how is it that you can seek the welfare of the people that might be bothering you, the people that are different from you? How can you take care of those people? How can you pray for them? How can you pray for your own city? So let's think about that today, and let's go give them heaven.